Hey guys, welcome back to another Book Lovers Pizza video. Today, I'm going to be reviewing our first Shakespeare play, Macbeth. Macbeth, or The Tragedy of Macbeth, was a play that was thought to be written by Shakespeare between the times of 1603 and 1606. Out of all his plays, Macbeth clearly reflects Shakespeare's relationship with his current monarch at the time, King James I, who was a patron of Shakespeare's acting company, the King's Men. This is shown through Shakespeare's portrayal of King Duncan, who was an eloquent and gracious king, which might be said to represent King James I. Shakespeare's plays are divided into three sections: histories, comedies, and tragedies. His comedies, such as Twelfth Night, Taming of the Shrew, and The Merchant of Venice, are often categorized with a clever plot twist. These unexpected plot twists always straighten out into a happy ending, and these comedies are always categorized by witty language and puns. His histories, such as Henry IV, Richard II, and King John, are all biographies of the recent kings of the past 4 centuries and are set in medieval times. Shakespeare's tragedies, such as Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and Macbeth, all feature a tragic hero, their hamartia, which is their fatal flaw, and the supernatural. It shows the protagonist's descent into the darkness and is often categorized by death and disaster. Spoiler alert. The catalyst of the play is when the 3 witches tell Macbeth about his foreseen prophecy and about how he will be King of Scotland one day. With this knowledge and the support of his wife, he kills the benevolent King Duncan in the hope of ambition and gaining more power. However, Macbeth's rule over the people is not great. It's very cruel and is often categorized by killing people due to paranoia. Due to this, there's a lot of civil war, which results in more death, and that is a major theme within the play. The first theme within the book is the theme of loyalty. Loyalty is shown to be accepted by Banquo, but rejected by Macbeth. On his path to sate his greed and his endless greed, he rejects the idea of loyalty and pursues his own selfish gains, even neglecting Lady Macbeth as well as his king and his friends. Ambition. A key discussion when talking about Macbeth is the idea that although Macbeth was encouraged by the witches, his true downfall lies within himself and his vaulting ambition and his inability to be content with what he has. The theme of the supernatural. Within the play, the idea of the supernatural is presented in a very negative light. It's shown to be corrupting to Macbeth, as well as acting as a catalyst for the negative events that happen to him. With reference to context at the time, it could be said that Shakespeare's negative portrayal of the supernatural is an attempt to please King James I, who was very against the idea of the supernatural. Within his time in the monarchy, King James I wrote a book called The Demonology, which referenced to witches and the idea of the supernatural lurking in society in England at the time. So, what did I like about the book? I enjoyed learning about Shakespeare's structure for his tragedies through Macbeth. Macbeth in itself was a very entertaining read, and it taught me a lot about Shakespeare's fallen heroes. I enjoyed reading about how Macbeth changed from this brave and loyal Macbeth to the now quote-unquote devilish Macbeth that he is now, and his change as a character. I also like the addition of new characters such as King Duncan, Lady Macbeth, Macduff, and Banquo, who all helped shape my understanding of the play and the text. Originally, when you start reading Shakespeare, it's very hard to understand due to his use of iambic pentameter and the language at the time. However, if, say, we changed his writing into prose, which is modern-day contemporary language, it'd be very interesting, and Macbeth is a key example of that. The play in itself is very interesting and very engaging and entertaining to read, and I would definitely recommend it. With cross-referencing between the play, Macbeth, and context at the time, it's very interesting to see how King James I's rule over England at the time and how it affects Shakespeare translates to how his plays are written and how they can be affected by the monarch at the time. Some things that I did not like. Initially, when I was first reading Shakespeare, a lot of the language and the structure of the book was really hard to read, except luckily there's a glossary at the back with all the key definitions, etc. But to a beginner reading Shakespeare, it was very hard to understand, and I needed to do a lot of research before I could fully understand the play and the text. Another point that I did not necessarily dislike, but what I found a bit discomforting, was the presentation of mental health at the time of Shakespeare. His portrayal of Lady Macbeth and her psychosis and her way of dealing with the events that surrounded Macbeth, as well as her environment at the time, was presented in a very negative and unempathetic light. However, modern perspectives on this matter have changed, so our perceptions of how Shakespeare wrote his kind of plays about empathy has changed, and how that benefits us as a modern audience. Overall, I would recommend this play and this text for readers above the age of 15 in order for them to actually understand what's happening and the things that are happening in the book, as well as having the patience to look deeply into what Shakespeare has been writing and look for a deeper, more allegorical meaning within the book. However, an alternative method of approaching the story is watching the amateur productions online, as well as films or theatre productions that help you understand the play more if you're hesitant to read it. Initially, I'm hesitant to rate the play a 5 out of 5 due to the difficult wording and the difficulty understanding the play. However, after studying the book and the play and the text for so long, my understanding of it has gotten better, as well as my understanding of the themes, context, etc., and thus I'll rate it a 5 out of 5. With references to the tragedy style of Macbeth, if you're interested in plays or texts with death, betrayal, and tragedy, I would definitely recommend the play for you. However, if you're not interested in Macbeth in particular or his tragedy styles, you might still be interested in alternatives such as Shakespeare's comedies and his histories such as A Midsummer's Night Dream and Henry IV. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope it was insightful and gave you a good overview of the play as well as its key themes, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. See you.
Peace out!